Welcome to Be Now for Thursday, October 20th. In a special edition on Thursday, we're going to talk to outgoing Mayor Allan Thompson from Caledon. But before we get to that, I'm joined by Fazelle Khan. Normally on Tuesday. Fazelle, how you doing?
I'm good, Don. Sorry, I think I pressed the wrong buttons there. I wasn't supposed to come on until you introduced me.
Well, you're on now.
Yeah, no, good show today, Don. I'm looking forward for the conversation with Allan.
Yeah. Yep.
Allan, as you know, has been a longtime friend of my phone's ringing. Sorry, a longtime friend of a lot of people here in Brampton, right?
Yep.
Way back when Paul Vicente helped us start Brampton Focus, we had the studio on Main Street. And Allan, whenever we called him and we needed to get his comment on something, he'd be there, and the show would be on Rogers. So way back then. And I'm kind of sad that he's, I want to use the word retiring, but he's not running again. So before he gets on, I just want to say, I think every politician should be as accessible as he is, or was, or is, I guess. And so, I think he's one of the, he's not an old guy, right? But he's one of the elders now in Peel Region, right? So I'm hoping he's going to stick around, and whenever we need a comment, we'll have him on. He might actually be more active now. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he'll be more critical.
Yeah. Maybe he'll be critical today.
Well, we'll see. He's an outgoing mayor. He's until, I think the swearing-in ceremony is November 14th for the new mayor. So we have until November 14th, and then after that, maybe he can go full gun.
He can get in some hot water still.
There you go. So what do we have up first before Allan comes
remember on Tuesday, we mentioned about having some videos for some of the candidates. So we have one available today, and the other two we're going to do later. So we have Susan Joseph, who's running as the regional councillor for Wards 9 and 10, trying to unseat the incumbent Gurpreet Dillon, my arch enemy. Susan contacted us and took us up on our offer to provide a video. And so it's on my other computer, so I'm going to have to turn my head and get it going here, Don.
Sure, no problem. Go ahead.
Got lots of stuff going on. Here we go. We can't hear her. We can't hear her. Why can't we hear her? That's a good question, Don.
You want to fix the audio, and then I can talk to Allan?
Yeah, let's do that. Good idea, Don.
Okay.
So
you fix the audio. In the meantime, I'll talk to Allan Thompson. How's that?
Yeah, why don't you introduce him, and I'll remove this.
This is Allan Thompson from the mayor of Caledon. How you doing, Allan?
I'm doing well, Don. How are you?
Technology is an amazing thing when it works perfect, but sometimes it doesn't. So that's why we have a backup plan always. Welcome to Be Now, Allan. It's nice to have you. You've been a councillor for 11 years prior to becoming mayor for 8 years. You didn't seek re-election this time. What was the reason why you decided not to run?
Boy, it was a tough one back in the spring, but I think it was I got a lot of changes personally in my life. I got to tell you, I couldn't do what I did for the last 19 years without the support of my family. And now it's time for me to give back to my family. And I've got an aging father. I got 2 new grandsons since I've made my decision. And there's just a lot of things in my life that have gone on. And you know what? 19 years, it's been a good run. And after the way things have gone this fall, in and out of hospital appointments and different things, I said to my wife 2 weeks ago, how the heck would I be able to run a campaign this fall with everything that's going on in our own lives? So, I just think it's just, as Kenny Rogers says, you got to know when to fold them. And that's what I'm going to do.
Well, that's good for you. At least you know your limitations. There's some people that hang on forever and ever and come back. It's like, you know what? I refer to them as paycheck politicians. They seem to, for them, it seems to be their only way going forward. And I don't agree with that. I want to get your opinion on term limits for councillors or city mayor. Is that something that you would actually be, not adverse to?
Well, in the United States, mayors can only hold 2 terms, right? And I guess I held 2 terms. One is, to me, is the way I looked at, I guess, if I was going to run, I would only run 1 more term, because to me, I think you have a certain time to, and I'm a type that put 150% into everything I do. And, you go hard, but I think if you can't accomplish what you want in 8 to 12 years, then you're never going to get everything accomplished. There's always things to do.
Yeah.
Walking away, definitely. There's, could I write a mandate on, well, how do I want to run? Absolutely. But I got to tell you, the reason why I'm saying no to term limits, even though, listen, I was an area councillor for 3 years, and then it changed to a 4-year term. I was a regional councillor for 8 years, and then I was a mayor for 8 years. So, I guess you're talking term limits, there you are. But having said that, it's great to say you want to run term limits, but it takes a lot. You take a lot from your family. You take a lot of your life. You don't have a life. And that takes its toll. And for some people, sometimes they run for a mayor when they realize, geez, it just sucks the life out of it. I might, I don't have time for my family or anything. You have to find that balance. It's a 24/7 job. My wife is totally convinced that I could make more serving coffee at McDonald's or Tim Hortons per hour than what I'm doing here. But I do it because I want to make a difference for my community. And to me I love Caledon. I breathe Caledon. And I've had a wonderful 19 years where the public in 5 election campaigns have supported me, to have faith in me, to do the job, to try to make a difference.
So let me ask you, in your time period, I mean, is there one thing that stands out as your greatest accomplishment, or something that you can take a look back and say, you know what, I'm proud that I did this. Maybe it didn't work out. Maybe it did work out.
Oh, there's a lot of things. To me,
you only get picking one.
Picking one. Well, I'll pick one as mayor, and I can pick one as a councillor. How's that?
Yeah, no problem.
The one as mayor, I gotta say, it came to my attention in 2018, or coming up to 2018, that our treaty with the Mississaugas needs to be renewed. And so we created a wampum belt with them, working with the Mississaugas, and we renewed the wampum belt, which is another 200-year agreement that we have with the Mississaugas between municipalities. We've had council-to-council meetings with the Mississaugas, and next Friday here, Don, we're going to be signing an MOU. One of the first lower tier municipalities to ever do this. Halton Region has done it. It's at a 2,000-foot level, where we got right down to the ground level. It's about stewardship. It's about us continuing on and basically fulfilling what the land acknowledgement is about. And I really hope that Brampton, Mississauga follow the same thing, as well as all the neighboring municipalities with their treaty holders. It's extremely important that we just do not do the talk, but do the walk. And I think that is something that has been a big accomplishment that I think I've been able to accomplish as mayor. Broadband was another one that I was hoping to get my community connected. And I would have been done if the federal government had just get off their butt on the universal broadband fund and make it public. The agreements have been signed, both with the province and the providers. It's just they're sitting here making an announcement. It's very unfortunate. I would have loved to have had that before I left office. As a councillor, the one thing is the paved shoulders on the roads. One, it's made it easier for cycling, allowing farm machinery to move over, but allow people to walk comfortably up the sides of the roads. As you go through Caledon now, we have a lot of paved shoulders. We're finding it's lengthening the life of our roads by another 12 years because the outside of the shoulders aren't breaking off as bad for the traffic. So there's a few things that I've left my mark walking away, and it's been good.
Well, that's great. So I'm going to get into the state of the politics today, because, I mean, you've been there for 19 years. You've gone through several things as councillor, 2 terms as mayor. We take a look at the state of politics going through, not only in Peel region, but in general through the country, municipally, provincially, federally. How do you view the state of the politics today as compared to, let's say, 19 years ago, or even 12 years ago, or 10 years ago?
I got to say, it's got ugly, and it is across the province. I've been talking to other mayors that they've never seen this as bad as it is this time around. I call it the Trump effect. It's created this permission of misinformation. I have never seen as much misinformation published And a lot of people always believe, well, if it comes in, it's got to be true. But unfortunately, it's so sad to see this happening. Our communities are better for this. This is not Caledon with what you see coming out in the papers, the ads, the mail outs. It's very disappointing. We're all better than that. The community deserve better than that. And to me, it's shameful, especially one particular candidate that's running for mayor. I'm very disappointed. And those campaigns have just got dirtier each time. And this is not Caledon. And even the bullying, at Southfields and in Bolton, the scrutineers of a particular candidate are harassing other people, over signs, for heaven's sakes, that nonsense. It's so unfortunate. And I think third-party advertising should not be allowed in municipal politics.
Yeah, I see, we experience it, here in Brampton. We have the, people running a campaign against our Mayor Patrick Brown at the same time. And it's wallowing in the dirt. It's dirty politics. And, you call it Trump factor. I call it more social media factor, because basically, let's say 12 years ago, you didn't have as much social media as you have now. And that's the big part of it, where you have Twitter and Facebook, and you have trolls on Twitter and Facebook, as you say, spreading out misinformation. And most of their people don't get it through a paper. They get it through social media. So they take a look at that, and they're reading all these trolls, and basically that's where it gets down and dirty. I don't like it. I think it's a stain on politics. I think people who run those type of campaigns are, they should be either kicked out, or there should be something that there's a detrimental effect on there. Leading into that, when you're talking about candidate, are you going to be endorsing any candidate for Mayor Caledon?
I was trying to stay neutral because I had two councillors running. Now I am endorsing. I will endorse one, just because the nastiness, the misinformation from the one particular candidate. If you can't tell us your vision and believe in you, and you have to tear the other one down to make yourself look better, that's unacceptable. That's not Caledon. That's not. I lived here all my life. My family homesteaded here in 1820. We've been here a long time. This is not the Caledon I believe in, that I've represented, and that I want to live in. And so that was why I'm supporting Jennifer Innes. The other reason, too, is she's got the leadership skills, can work with people, can work with council, can work with all levels of government, and be able to accomplish and get things done. And it made it an easier decision for me to come out and do that. And it's going to be a very tight race. But I do believe the one that's got the values, that's got the integrity, and especially the information that's come out with what her brochures are accurate. The other candidate, it's just partial truths, and it's just a sheet of lies. And I can't accept that. So that's why I've come out to support Jennifer Innes.
Well, good for you. I mean, going forward, there's a lot of people that basically take a look at that. I think more people, more and more disgusted with the dirty type of politics, the Trump politics, whether you call it the troll politics. To me, that is just, you're running on no platform, no idea, standard. They always talk about integrity and accountability, but those are the people that I kind of question, because their integrity and accountability comes through on social media, and there is no integrity and there is no accountability. So, those people that you see, they're on social media, they take a look at it and they use it for, unfortunately, ways to tear down rather than build up. And we've seen that over the last 6 or 8 years in Brampton, and it's unfortunate. But, instead of trying to build a community, break it down. So good for Jennifer Innes for running a clean campaign, and good for you in coming out and saying, yes, this is why I support Jennifer Innes. I think more people should actually call out candidates that basically have that kind of dirty politics, because you know what? We don't need that. You need people to lead, especially if you're heading into a recession and the things. It's going forward that you need to build bridges. So I want to ask you too about the 413.
Yeah. Well, the 413 is a provincial highway, and places to grow legislation that was created back in 2005. They've taken a lot of our land. They put most of 80% of Caledon in the Greenbelt. The rest of it's for future development. So where the highway corridor is going through is deemed for development, but the 413, everybody calls it the highway. I call it a corridor. And the reason being is there's an LRT that's coming forward. You look at where Brampton is and Mississauga now are having with disruptions similar to York region, putting Hamilton, putting LRTs in after the fact is asinine. You need to plan ahead of time. We're going to take a lot of growth here in Caledon. We're going to be, in the next 20 years, we're going to grow to 300,000 people, but we got to find different other ways of moving people. But we also need that infrastructure corridor to move that. And if we can get the LRT, that LRT is proposed to run on that, that allows us to connect into Brampton, Mississauga, also into Oakville, but also into York region system as well. So I think you got to look at the big picture of what is coming. And with growth, you need the infrastructure to come with it. And people that say you don't need it, no. I do agree. The 407, we need to find a way to allow the trucks to be using that today. But that's only short term. With all the growth that's coming, it will be at capacity within 5 to 10 years anyway. But it needs to be done now. I have no disagreement where Mike Schreiner is going, open the 407. Absolutely. We need to do that. We need to find a way to do that. But in the long term, for future growth, for people to move, for my community to function, because our roads are already been inundated with gridlock, and it's going to get far worse if we don't have a corridor to be able to move traffic. And it's going to look much different in the future to what it does today, but you still need a corridor to be able to move people.
All right. That's, it's funny because, you get Bonnie's view, you get Patrick's view, and you get other people's view. We rarely hear from Mayor Allan Thompson in Caledon. It seems to be, You're up there, forget about it. And, we don't need your opinion. We're going forward doing whatever we're doing. So it's interesting to see, the next mayor of Caledon, whoever that is, it'd be interesting to get their point of view on that as well. So the next one I want to talk about, Peel Region. Bonnie floated the idea that she wants to secede again. What's your take on that one? I know we've been down this route before with Hazel and Bonnie over and over again. So,
and I think it's just going to be continual. It's going to be repetitious. It's just going to go on and on and on. I do believe it'll go on till it'll be the city appeal before Mississauga gets separate nation. Just for infrastructure, the cost of the taxpayers, everything else. You saw that with Toronto. You've seen it with Hamilton. You've seen it with Ottawa. This is one of the fastest growing regions. We're going up to 2.3 million people, the size of where Toronto has been. And, Toronto's almost 3 million now. But it'll eventually be a single tier municipality, and that's how it's going to look. You get great attention, but I do believe Mayor Crombie knows that, but maybe she's got other expectations that she's trying to set a platform maybe for her future goals, doing something else. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I think there's more to the story than what we really know. But it sounds good when you're campaigning and talking about this, but I really believe Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon, as far as going separate, it isn't a really big issue really to the average taxpayer. I think what they're really trying to get by now is, where are we going to be in the next 2 to 3 years, especially with the cost of inflation, the cost of our interest rates. How are we going to be able to live? Can we afford to live here? Am I going to still have a job? I think that's more concerning. Making sure that the garbage is still picked up. Is my streets going to remain in good repair and everything else? I think is, breaking away and being a separate municipality is a really small percentage.
Now, I heard before, they would amalgamate Mississauga and Brampton, and then Caledon would align with Durham region somehow. But that was...
Or Dufferin, yeah.
So, going down the road, what do you think Bonnie's doing? She wants to become a super mayor, or she's, looking at one of those provincial parties that doesn't have a leader, and maybe she's running for the Liberal Party? Is that what you're saying, Alan? Is that what I'm hearing behind it?
Something, as I said, there's more to the story that you and I don't know, but I'm sure there is.
So she's setting up something, eh?
I think there's definitely something to it when you keep bringing it in.
Well, we'll find out going forward.
Yeah,
that's
it is. It's just surmising, right? So, I think at this point, I think there's more to the story than what really adds up.
All right. Okay. So the other one I wanted to ask you, before we get into, what's next in your life, Norval Quarry. I know that was canceled. That was a quarry that basically Brampton Brick wanted. They're looking for, obviously, the ingredients to make bricks. Is that something that you think is going to be dead, or is that going to come up again?
It'll be there. It's green belt, so it'll definitely be there for the long run. There's always going to be a need of aggregate, clay. As long as there's building, people are growing, you're establishing, road repairs, doesn't matter. There's always a need for aggregate, and especially for the richest shale deposits are sitting right in the Brampton area. At one point, this was the Peel Plain was an inland sea, and under that heavy clay soils, all this red shale, and it runs right up to the escarpment in the Oak Ridges Moraine. So, it's there, it exists. There's huge deposits. We all have one big deposit that Brampton Brick's mining currently right now in Cheltenham, just outside of Terracotta, between Cheltenham and Terracotta. But eventually, when that deposit gets used up, I'm sure they're going to come back and touch that. And it's zoned as greenbelt, so it will not be developed on. And under the Ministry of Natural Resources, they will not allow development to take place on huge deposits, even for shale, let alone gravel or any other aggregate stone.
All right. So the last question I'm going to ask you, what's next, Allan? What have you decided to do with your life for the rest of your, 10, 20 years?
Yeah, well, let's hope, eh? Something, back in 2019, my wife and I bought a travel trailer, and we've never camped. We went with some friends. We went out west, the Calgary Stampede. We're gone. I say almost a month. My wife says 3 weeks and a little bit, but it was fantastic. We never had one crossword, and we had a wonderful experience. And I've got since COVID, this poor thing has been sitting in my yard, not going very far. So you know what? I think we like to get out and see the East Coast the same way. And we want to do some traveling while we can, and we still have our health. And I now have two small grandsons. What are they? 9 and 3.5 months. And I want to enjoy them. I've got an aging father. I got a brother that's not younger than me, that's not doing well health-wise. And I think it's the family's always been there for me. And I think it's now I need to give back and take care of family. I'll still be in the community volunteering. But yeah, I think it's time. I've always been one of those workaholics, just go, go, go. And I think I just want to see a little bit of the world and experience a few things first while I can do it, while I still have my health.
Well, going forward, Allan, thank you for coming on. You've always been supportive. You've always been open to coming on whenever we asked you, which is important for politicians to get into the public eye and ask questions. You've never shied away from any questions that we've asked on a regular basis. So we thank you for that. We'd be interested in talking to you after November 14th about the election results and going forward, if that's something that you'd be open to if you're available.
Absolutely.
And then maybe going forward, just every once in a while, have you on to talk about the state of politics in Peel region. We'd love to have that.
It is. And Don, thank you. And Faz as well. You've taken an interest in the community, not just in Brampton, but you've given Caledon a voice. And thank you for that. And we're all part of Peel region, and we all pay our taxes to Peel region, and we do what's needed. And we try to do the best we can for our community. And both of you have been real champions, but thank you for being able to give me the opportunity to be involved and tell Caledon's story. It's been a wonderful ride for the last 8 years, and the great support that you've offered Caledon, and I thank you for that.
Well, there would have been more if you guys had broadband, Wi-Fi.
and no question about that. We laugh about it, but that was something that I definitely heard in the doors in 2014. Something we definitely worked. We bravely put a levy on to try to make those commitments. We do have a lot of connections underway now. I do believe that, once the announcements are made, that we do have a plan to finish the rest of Caledon. My biggest concern is when the announcements aren't being made, that 2025 is going to be pushed further out. And that's my concern. But I do believe we're going to have a connected community. With Mayfield West is one of the first smart communities built here in Ontario, with ubiquitous Wi-Fi connecting every home. And with kids in school and everything, that they have access everywhere. And I do believe that's the way the new developments and the new community is going to be. I think all communities are going to be smart, but the technology is here, and we need to embrace it, and we need to find different ways on how to do it. It doesn't matter if it's energy usage or what it is. We're definitely going to find it. It's unbelievable how much we rely on these phones and the technology they have, and how we use it, not just for banking, but also turning on our furnace or air conditioning or accepting an Amazon package. Everything's changing so fast. And, even Don, we were talking earlier, the modern farm today is a wired farm. The technology and precision farming doesn't matter. It's on the construction site or in the farm field or in the dairy barn or the poultry barn. The technology there today is there. But we need today, the essential service is having fiber to every door, like what hydro was 100 years ago and railways 150 years ago.
All right. Well, listen, Allan, it's fun talking to you always. I know that your wife is there waiting for you to get the hell off this broadcast so you can maybe go to dinner somewhere. So go. We'll talk to you in the future. I always enjoy talking to you because you're straight up, and it's like that's the way basically I am as well. And it's fun to talk to you. So thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll keep in touch.
And Don, I can say of anything, I'm asking everybody to get out and vote. And just remember, when you're reading this negative information, just remember, is that who I want representing me?
Absolutely, 100%. Thanks, Allan. Have a good night.
Thanks, Alan. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right. Have you figured out the sound technology there, Faz?
Well, hey, so you talk. I'm going to put you full screen because I'm going to try to figure out while you're talking. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So
I might cut you off.
All right. Well, you can cut me off at any time. You normally do anyway. We have a couple minutes left, 3 minutes left. So hopefully Faz can figure out how to turn the sound on. So Allan Thompson had a lot of good points there. Basically, he's someone that we've enjoyed talking to over the years. He's straight up. He never shies away from any kind of questions, which is good. I mean, Allan is that type of guy that's straight up, and we enjoy it. So Susan Joseph, Brampton Regional Council candidate, wards 9 and 10.
So the main reason I'm running for regional councillor is...
Kick up that volume.
Hang on, Don. I don't know what's going on now. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I
just can't hear the candidate.
It's my internet.
You're with Rogers.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm with Bell.
Now. Let's go.
So the main reason I'm running for regional councillor is my passion for healthcare. As a healthcare worker and in mental health in our local hospital,
Your volume is very low.
A difference because I see these kids in my unit who are basically traumatized because we haven't done a good service to provide an environment for them to thrive. So with seniors, again, I'm going to talk about the healthcare. I've heard a lot of my seniors in my constituents were talking about the lack of...
Getting a lot of feedback there, Faz.
In home care specifically because they want to age at home as well as the...
Yeah, you're getting a lot of feedback. So there's a problem with your link in there. So
yeah, I apologize to.
Yeah, you're getting feedback now because you okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So we'll post that on our social media. Tell Faz
to replace his modem.
Been using my modem since the Commodore 64 days. Mike.
Thanks, Michael. That's why I never subscribe to Rogers. Okay, I'm Bell Telus, so I'm happy with Bell. Yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you what. You can post that. Take the video, post it on our Be Now page, or Brampton Focus, or Brampton Neighbors, whatever one we run, and then at least she'll get a little bit of recognition. She took the time to put the video together and send it to us, so that's the least we can do.
No, we met. I videotaped it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so same thing with Mike Dancy.
Yeah.
And what else did we do? Andrea Barrett.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So those three videos. So I didn't have those other two. So it's actually kind of fair. It wouldn't have been fair members only. Anyways, so
All right. So post them up and then see. I mean, it's going
so Mike,
forward.
I know Mike's here, so we'll have that up tomorrow, Mike. All three. So I know there's a couple days left in the election. Hopefully, you can push it out there. We'll share it, or we'll communicate, but we'll help you get it out there, get your message out. We're not telling people how to vote, right? We're just telling them, hey, here's a candidate, and you should look at them.
Yeah, so next Tuesday, basically October 24th, that is election night. So we will not be on next Tuesday. I'm sure you can find out all sorts of things going on with the election going forward. Probably, definitely the next Tuesday. So it's going to be November. We will be talking about the election results and so on and so forth going forward. So until then, go out and vote. Make sure, as Allan said, that you do some research on your candidate. If you got a candidate that is doing nothing but slinging mud, is that the person that you want to have representing you on the municipal level? That's something to think about.
Mike wants to know where the watch party is. I was going to ask him where his
Yeah,
campaign
where's your?
party is.
You know, I thought Michael was holding a big watch party at a bar and everything was free, an open bar and
what I
everything. I
heard.
thought that was no.
He disappeared.
Yeah, I'm sure he would after that last comment. All right, we're over our 30 minutes. Faz, you like to keep the time to 30 minutes, so
Vote,
thank you.
vote, and vote.
Yeah,
Oh, just vote once. Well, actually, you vote for mayor, you vote for regional councillor, you vote for city councillor, and you vote for school trustee.
Right.
Vote 4 times. That's a lot of votes. It matters.
Yeah, and it matters. All right, so thank you for joining in, and he's going to Williams with Cynthia. Okay, well, that sounds like a plan. Good for you, supporting local businesses at the same time.
Maybe
Excellent.
I'll probably drop by there. Actually, I'm not.
Well, maybe you can do a live stream from Williams Cafe if they got a couple of candidates there.
Yeah, before 8 o'clock. Well, we'll see. I'm going to be busy that day.
All right, you're going to be busy. Absolutely, 100%. So thank you for joining.
You're really busy, right? You're not even going to be able to. Anyways,
I'll be really busy. Yeah, exactly. All right. We'll talk to you later, and we'll see you after the election. Thanks for joining us.